Legend has it that the first corner is named after a local character who has earned the nickname of Tarzan. The circuit was planned to be built over his vegetable garden, and he would only allow it if track designers named a nearby corner after him. If you didn't know, the reason the Dutch wear orange stems from the Dutch royal family. Unrelated to the fruit, William of Orange led a revolution that created the independent Netherlands. Since then, the colour has become a symbol of national pride and is featured on every national sports team livery. After years of speculation, the return of the Dutch Grand Prix was finally confirmed in May 2019. I'm sure the meteoric rise of Max Verstappen has some part to play behind the event's comeback. Ever heard singing coming from the bridge?
What's going on, guys, and welcome to Formula 7 Racing. This is the pinnacle of F7. This is the Gold Division, and we are live here in the Netherlands. We do have a few drivers at the home Grand Prix as well. I'm just going to do a quick sound check. So my mic wasn't connected, it was going through my controller, so I'm just going to double check it. Oh good, so we are on board with Pera. I'm going to jump in a party actually, so I don't annoy any of the drivers. So on board with Pera, he's just coming round turn 1 and down towards turn 2 and 3. In towards turn 4 at the left-handed hairpin. Yellow flag's just waving at the moment. A few drivers already out of the pit lane. In towards turn 5 and 6. Through to 7 and 8. So the Greek driver going in towards turn 9. Right over the curb. And just backing out there. So he's a little bit cautious. Pera being back on track as he goes through turn 10. And then in towards 11. Down the one of the two DRS straights in towards turn 12 and 13 at Audi S. And out of turn 13, a little bit of traffic in front of him. He might actually get a slipstream off that Red Bull driver in front. Coming round turn 15, down the pit straight we go, on board with the Alpine. The Greek driver of Pera back on track. It's a 109.4. That is your benchmark, but for how long? The McLaren came through, didn't set a lap time, so there is a Haas driver, and that is Thijs. He's on a outlap. Then we have a Red Bull right behind him. This is Kasi. His debut race here at Formula 7. Down towards line goes Kasi, and it is a 108.1. 1.3 seconds quicker than Pera. An incredible lap, a 108.8. For the Irishman of JTXU. Then we have XD Paco about to start his flying lap. And then the Scuderia of F1 Jax, a 108.3 for him. The Alfa Romeo of Henke about to start his flyer. And then we have TTL Nick in the other Scuderia. Wesley in the Mercedes about to start his flying lap. And then we have an Aston Martin of B. Right, the current world champion coming down the pit straight. And it's a 1:12.2, so he's definitely messed up a little bit there. We do have a Red Bull driver coming to the line. This is Levi Martins, a 108.7 for Levi Martins. Then comes the McLaren of cars, a 108.5 for the Dutchman at his home Grand Prix. The Alpha Tauri of Reese is going to be next. No, it's not. It's Senjo who's going to start his flying lap, the Norwegian. And then we have Thijs Chester at his home Grand Prix as well, a 109.0. The Red Bull driver of Kazi going in towards the pit lane. Is this XD Paco? It is. Let's see what he can do. He is absolutely the favourite for this race. XD Paco, a 107.9 for the Haas driver. Unbelievable. So we'll be right go again. There is a Mercedes coming through. That is Wesley. Down the pit straight he goes. And the Dutchman goes P8. So we do have a lot of Dutch drivers on the board tonight. B-Right did go again. It's a 108.7 for the world champion. Reese went up to P3, a 108.3. What a lap from Reese. Kazi just coming round and then going into the pit lane. Senjo is going to be next, the Norwegian, who got his first race win last week in the Gold Division. Here comes Senjo down the pit straight towards the line. Senjo goes P8, a 108.8, and these are very, very quick bankers. The Gold Division is on another level. Super Turbo in the McLaren is just coming round turn 14 and 15. It is his home Grand Prix. Basically, he can, class Imola or the Netherlands as his home Grand Prix. Goes P13. So we have a couple of drivers on outlaps. And I think that was an Aston Martin coming back through. So I think Oster is going to be next. So we'll stay on board with the Alpine driver and let's see what he can do around Zandvoort. So in towards turn 4 he went. Is XD Paco Dutch as well, Dennis? Dennis, if you do fancy reserving, we do have a little spare seat there. I don't actually know who's not turned up. I'm trying to figure it out. One of the Williams of us. So who's that? Paco's Dutch. I didn't know that. Oh, it's Luis Baptiste that hasn't shown up. But he was talking in the chat, so that's surprising. So, Oster to the line, a 108.3. What a lap from Oster. That is a cracking lap. So, Lewis about to start his flyer, and then we have Jake, who is on a lap. What about Undertaker Dylan? He's just coming round turn 15 now. No problem, Dennis. Undertaker Dylan, a 108.9. So Jake will be next. It says he's gone purple sector 1. Oh, and the snap has caught him out there. So that will be it for Jake. Maybe he'll just try and get a banker on the ball, but he would have definitely lost 3 attempts there with that little snap. Just the rears flicking out ever so slightly. But when you're racing with the competition that we have in Gold, you have to be on absolute top form. There is no leeway here. So Jake does go up to P9. A 108.8 was still a cracker of a lap. Here comes Lewis, round turn 15. And the Alfa Romeo down the pit straight to the line. It's a 108.9. And it's P13. Here comes Henke. One of the men that wants to knock XD Paco off his perch. So, Henke is on an outlap. He's the only driver yet to set a lap time. 8 minutes to go. Anything can happen here. But I'm going to stay on board with Henke because I do want to see what the Alfa Romeo driver can produce in such difficult circumstances when the top drivers, every single driver from P2 all the way down to P13 is in the 108. So, I mean, F1 Jackson Oster set exactly the same lap time. But the difference is, Jackson will be starting on the 4th row of the grid and Oster on the... Jackson on the 2nd row of the grid and Oster on the 3rd row of the grid. So, that's the sort of difference it makes. So, we are on board with Henke in towards turn 3 and 4. We have a male driver, going to put it on the line as he comes in towards turn 5 and then 6 the left-hander and then 7 and then they'll go round, just easing off the throttle ever so slightly there for Henke in towards turn 9, and it's a really nice line through there over the chicane, just touching the curb into turn 11 and then down the DRS straight. B right is out. B right has crashed it at turn 10. Oh no, sorry, that is turn 4. That is big. The world champion is out with 6 minutes to go. So here comes Henke, round turn 15. The championship leader all the way from Norway to the line. It's a 108.0 and it's P2. Provisional front row of the grid. We know how good he is. Here comes Wesley. Into the pit lane he goes. What about the Red Bull of Kazi? I need to know if it's Kazi or Kazi. Kazi. Oh, Kazi. Kazi. Oh no, we'll try and work that out after, but I'm going to go Kazi. Kazi. Oh, wow. I didn't even realise he was on a lap. But Kazi, a 107.9 and has gone provisional pole here in Zandvoort. What an incredible lap for the Oracle Red Bull driver. That is phenomenal. So Kaz, I think, is into the pit lane. The Alpha Tauri of Senjo is also in. So the driver's just getting in, getting ready for that one last run. So we have a fight on our hands here. What about tyres in the Haas? I think he's actually on a lap, but he's going back into the pit lane. So the Haas driver is in the pit lane. Every driver is in the pit lane. Jake is on his way back out. Remember, he had that little snap that cost him. Well, now we're about to find out what he really can do. And down in towards turn 1 goes to Williams. He's an incredible driver, Jake. It's very sought after as well. Oster, I know, mate. A 108.342 by 3 separate drivers is incredible. I don't think I've ever seen 3 drivers with an identical time in qualifying. So he didn't even lose it, Ben. There's something happened to him. So Jake to the line. It's a 108.4. It's P8 for the Williams driver. We have 3 minutes to go, and I think that might be it for him. The Ferrari of F1 Jacks getting ready to go again. And here we go, on board with F1 Jacks. Let's see what the Scuderia can do. Down towards turn 1 we go. Into the right-handed hairpin. We'll see a lot of overtakes going in towards turn 1 this evening, hopefully, as we ride on board with him. That beautiful yellow themed helmet that just works so well with the red and the trim of yellow on that Ferrari car. In towards turn 6 and 7 goes the Ferrari driver. And the traffic just moving out of the way for the Ferrari in towards turn 9 and 10. And then through turn 11. And this is where the DRS will kick in for the Ferrari driver. DRS enabled. He's throwing it all down on the line here now. F1 Jax, purple sector 2. Over the curb he goes through the Audi S at turn 12. And then up towards turn... Sorry, that was turn 12 and 13. In towards turn 14 and 15. Here comes the Ferrari driver down the pit straight. F1 Jax to the line. It's a 108.2. And it's P4 for the Ferrari driver. There's nothing more he can throw down. Oh, that is an Alpine. That's Oster that's round. Hopefully he doesn't get disqualified. Here comes Reese on an outlap. So we've got a few drivers. There's another Alpine coming through. That is Pera, the Greek driver. 108.8. Brilliant. P15 for Pera. And that's a great lap for the driver returning after a long layoff. Here comes Undertaker Dylan in the Mercedes. The Scotsman, 108.4, and it's P9 for Undertaker Dylan. Who was that off the track? That is a Pera now. And then we have the McLaren. Sorry, I skipped past him. That is Super Turbo. And in towards the pit lane he goes. Here comes the Red Bull of Kazi. He's got to go again. Wow. So here comes Henke to start his flying lap. So all the drivers are ready and waiting. Oster retires. Super Turbo retires. We are on board with Kazi. I think he is the leading car. He is down by 4 1,000ths at the minute. F1 Jax goes into the pit lane. Here comes Reese. Reese is the leading car. Reese is improving. Down to the line he goes. P4, a 108.2. And he just snatches it away. The McLaren of cars goes up towards P10. I think he's going again. He is. So the Williams of Jake is just going to... I think he might miss the line here. It's going to be close. I think he's just going to make it with 2 seconds to spare. So he will be the last driver through. What about Wesley? Undertaker Dylan. Oh, the Red Bull spun it. Levi Martin. No, that is Kazi. Kazi has spun it. The Alfa Romeo goes into the pit lane. That is Henke. He can do no more. Kazi's into the wall. He needs to be careful not to get disqualified. Into the pits goes Wesley. The Red Bull of Kazi's going really slow on the racing line. Needs to be careful. Here comes Taz Tiesta at his home Grand Prix. The Flying Dutchman to the line. The Season 6 World Champion goes up to P12. The Ferrari of TTL Nick will be next. There's an Aston Martin that just hit the line as well. But here comes the Ferrari, goes up to P10. What about the Haas driver? That is XD Paco 107.7. That is unbelievable. Cars goes up to P8 in the McLaren. Then we have the Alpha Tauri of Reese who's going in towards the pit lane. I think that might be it. It is it. And XD Paco continues his dominant reign with a 107.7 and takes pole position at his home Grand Prix here in Zandvoort. So XD Paco takes pole position here in the Netherlands. Kazi will start alongside him on the front row of the grid in the Red Bull in P2. On the second row of the grid, it's Henke in the Alfa Romeo in P3 and Reese in the Alfa Tauri alongside him in P4. On the third row of the grid, it's F1 Jax in the Ferrari and Oster in the Alpine. On the fourth row of the grid, it's Senjo and Kaz. And on the fifth row of the grid, it's Jake in the Williams and Undertaker Dylan in the Mercedes. In P11, it's TTL Nick. Levi Martins comes behind in P12. Ty's in P13. Lewis in P14. The World Champion in P15. JTXU in P16. Pera in P17. Super Turbo in P18. And Wesley in P19. I don't know why it says lobby updated. Sorry guys, I can't stop sneezing. It's doing me head in. I want to get ready for the race. So this is a good time to tell you about Formula 7 racing. We race every single Sunday, 10 AM, 12:30 PM and 7 PM. That's bronze, silver and gold. Gold is the pinnacle of F7 racing. That is what you are watching now. On a Monday night we have Fantasy F7, your team, your logo and your livery. And that is a Constructor Space Championship only. And then on a Wednesday, just to sink your teeth into a whole week of racing, we have Formula 7 Realistic. That's realistic performance, driver salaries, team budgets, team principal Instagrams. It's just got everything. It's amazing. So we have 5 races, and it's a bit for everybody. Anybody can come and race here, whether you're XD Paco or you're me. We have a level for everybody. Our sponsors are Rock Solid Rigs, and our partners are TTL Esports. Evening, Red. So this is it. All the drivers just lining up, getting the heat into the tyres. But this is it. We are ready. The drivers getting ready to race around Zandvoort, and this is it. Formula 7 racing here in the Gold Division for round 11, sponsored by Rock Solid Rigs. And it's the lights out and away we go. XD Paco and Kazi. Kazi got an amazing start in the Red Bull. In towards turn 1 he goes. And he's already through and into the lead of this Grand Prix. Henke, Reese, Oster is throwing F1 Jacks. Reese is up into the podiums down the inside of the Alfa Romeo. Cars right down the inside goes the Ferrari. F1 Jacks clatters into the Alpine of Oster, trying to lunge down the inside. Henke's down to P8 as he's starting to get swallowed up. Levi Mines up 5 places. Cars up to the wheel to wheel. There goes Henke, slots back in behind him. Reese is into the podiums. He's got Oster on his tail. XD Paco is down in towards P2 and already 4 tenths behind Kazi. Perez up to P10 in the Alpine. B Wright is in P16. He's down 1 place. F1 Jack's now down 12. Super Turbo stays in position and ties is down 6 into the end back of this Grand Prix. Wesley up 5 places, just getting overtaken by Undertaker Dylan. Now here comes Jake down the inside as they go into turn 12 at the Audi S. Through turn 13, side by side for the Williams and the Mercedes. And Jake will have to slot in behind him. B Wright losing another position. He's back down into P16. He was trying to make a move there. But we go down the pit straight. Oster looking on the back of the AlphaTauri of Reese, but not able to make the move now as they go 1.2 clear of the front 2. JTXU is through on Lewis W, but he's not going to give it up that easy. The Aston Martin is going to have to go the long way round, and the Alfa Romeo just slots back in behind him. Good racing, a few incidents, but all the drivers still in this Grand Prix. That is Oster and the Alpine just trailing the AlphaTauri of Reese as he's just hanging on. Then you've got Senjo there, the 2 AlphaTauris in a great position. So pair up 7 places. That's a yellow flag. I can't see who that is. Oh, TTL Nick in the Ferrari. Just losing a few positions. Did he make a mistake? He now has Wesley behind him. There goes Undertaker Dylan on Lewis as going towards turn 12. And he is through and into P11. Nearly into the points now. F1 Jax did not get damaged, but he's going to have to come all the way from P17 after starting in P5. Slight mistake there from Wesley, went a little bit wide. Kazi setting the fastest lap of this Grand Prix. DRS is now enabled. There goes Oster on Reese. Oster is finally through in towards turn 1. And Reese will now have his teammate behind him. F1 Jax is through on Wesley. They're going 3 wide. Who's that? That Super Turbo hits the rear tyre of F1 Jax. And again. And just backs out now, the McLaren driver. Nearly ended in tears. Perez round. He got overtaken. And now he's down in towards P15. Super Turbo looking for another move. Oh, and he's just nearly hit the Ferrari again there, Super Turbo. Be careful, guys. Make sure to leave space for each other. Be right looking at the back of Lewis W. As he goes a little bit wide. There, and just opens the door for Jake in the Williams. That is Ty Chester that is round, the Haas driver. And Wesley as well. Oh, Wesley spun it there going round turn 11. VSC is out. Will we see any of the drivers try and pit here? Maybe the soft runners get off them softs and onto the double medium strategy. No, we don't. So remember, we do have that VSC, which means we can see no changes in positions for now. Sorry about that, I thought I muted my mic. I've got a really bad cold. It's not even a cold, it's just an allergy. Oh, Tyres gets a drive through. And I think that might be the end of the Dutchman's race in his home Grand Prix. This VSC is staying out for a really long time. So XD Paco is back in the lead of this Grand Prix. Remember, he is on them hards, Kazi on the soft, so is Oster. So XD Paco and Reese will be on a completely different strategy, and it wouldn't surprise me if we've seen the two AlphaTauris trade positions, knowing that Senja is on the mediums and he's on the hards, maybe swap strategies. Oh, JTXU, who's in P9, has got a drive through. Undertaker Dylan takes his opportunity and goes up to P9. Round turn 13 they go. And that's F1 Jax on Pera. Will he be able to make the move? He is very close. Here comes F1 Jax in the Ferrari. Round turn 15 he goes. And the Ferrari driver is through on the Alpine and up to P15. JTXU has served his drive through. B-Right did get past Lewis W. And he's now back in the points. He is one of the soft runners though. So it depends how that strategy ends up. Reese did get back past Oster as well, which is a great move for him. And the track is still really bunched up quite a bit. Apart from obviously the big gap from Henke to Undertaker Dylan. Here comes Henke. Oh, it looked like he was just sliding out a little bit. The Alfa Romeo, and you can see that little clover on the side of it, which is quite ironic considering it's St. Patrick's Day. It's also all our Irish racers. Happy St. Patrick's Day. So Kazi just following XD Paco in towards turn 15 at Ludenditcher-Bosch. I remember when I tried pronouncing all them last time. The Super Turbo had to help me out. Kazi on XD Paco, he's backed out. Wow, so the strategy coming into play now. What about TTL Nick on Jake? He is looking for a move. He's very close, actually. He just thinks better of it. So we are 6 laps into this Grand Prix. Henke having a look back on Levi Martins again. Oh, B-Right has lost a few positions. It looks like he might erode the curb. And here comes TTL Nick. B-Right looking down the inside. Oh, and they've hit each other. Need to just be a little bit careful there. The B-Right, sorry, just slots in behind the Ferrari. And the Aston Martin is down in towards P13 now. Henke's still trying to make a move on Levi Martins. And look at this. Reese is nearly back within DRS range of Kazi. Will Kazi go for a move? Nope, stays back again. Oh, Lewis W on Undertaker Dylan is up to P9. And the Alfa Romeo is side by side with the Mercedes, giving him room. And Wesley is out in the pit lane. And Undertaker Dylan is back through on Wesley. No, sorry, on Lewis. Senjo on the back of Oster. Oster seems to be struggling on them softs. He's 1.2 off Reese now. I didn't think a soft strategy would be the way to go around here. Because you're not going to do 29 laps even on the hards. Even if you pit in now, I mean, you're going to have to do quite a few laps on the softs and they fall off relatively quickly. Jake is through on Lewis in towards turn 12 and the Williams driver is through on the Alfa Romeo. And up into the points goes Jake. Senjo is through finally on Oster. And what about the McLaren of cars? He's going for a move as well down the inside. Bit of a lunge from the McLaren. But he kept it clean. And now the wheel to wheel, the Alpine and the Papaya. Down in towards the hairpin. Oh, the McLaren just leaning into him as they're going into the hairpin there. And the Alpine will just switch it back. There's Oster right on the rear diffuser of that McLaren in front. So the two Alpha Tauri is now in P3 and P4. What about B right on TTL Nick? He's right on the rear diffuser. Kazi is driving with great dexterity here and just being really patient on the back of XD Paco. Really showing his worth and showing what sort of driver that he is going to be here in F7. Will we see an overtake from Kazi? He just doesn't look like he wants to overtake at the minute, which is very clever. Here comes Oster. Oh, he went left and right. And Levi Martins is now on his tail. What about Undertaker Dylan? He's going to have to go the long way around the Williams. Good racing from the pair of them. Undertaker Dylan! Undertaker Dylan lost his rears, clattered into the Williams and went into the wall. And the Scotsman is round. He has wing damage and that's brought out a safety car. Oh, it's took his full wing off and brought out a full course safety car. Just in case anybody jumps into the comments, safety car is unreduced. And Wesley, thank you for reserving, and I appreciate you waiting until the safety car came out to leave the lobby as well. Thank you very much, mate. Sorry guys, 1 second, I can't find the chat. So, the drivers do pit. This is great for the soft runners, you know. Oh, Oster gets a 5 second. The Alpha Tauri is going to have to double stack. They might lose a position here. Let's just keep an eye on them. Oh, that's costly. That is costly. What's going on with XD Paco? It looked like he was being held up. Reese is the race leader. How has that happened? Reese is your race leader because every driver pitted. A few of the drivers got held up. Wow. Senjo come out in P7. That is incredible. So Reese is your race leader on lap 10. So a lot of the drivers got held up into the pit lane, which is understandable when every single driver pits. Every driver on the grid pits. So, Reese is your race leader on lap 10 here in Zandvoort. Kazi is in P2, ties DNFs in the pit lane. XD Paco is in P3, Ulster in the Alpine in P4 but does have a time penalty. Cars in the McLaren in P5, Henke in the Alfa Romeo in P6, Senjo in the Alfa Tauri in P7 after being held up in the pit lane by his teammate. Levi Martins in the Red Bull in P8, DRL Jake in the Williams in P9, TTL Nick in the Ferrari in P10, B Wright in the Aston Martin in P11, Lewis W in the Alfa Romeo in P12, and Pera is returned back to track in P13 in the Alpine, Super Turbo in the McLaren in P14, and F1 Jackson the Ferrari in P15, Undertaker Dylan in the Mercedes in P16, and JTXU in the Mercedes in the Aston Martin in P17. So make sure you keep a gap, guys. Hopefully the safety car will be in at the end of this lap. So the safety car is in this lap and Reese will lead the restart. So here we go. Reese in the AlphaTauri. When will he get going? Will he go early? Kazi getting ready behind him as they just inch forward. And off he goes. And the safety car restart is underway. What about cars on Ulster? Down the inside goes the McLaren. What about the Red Bull there of Levi Martins? Senjo having to leave in the room as Levi Martins comes down the inside. Senjo, Levi Martins, P7, P8. And Senjo is through. The Red Bull. Oh, that's a lunge from Jake. That was very lucky that it didn't cause a big accident. That is not like Jake, though, in the Williams. I'm sure that was just a miss of the brake pedal there. But luckily, both drivers still in this race and still going. So Undertaker Dylan is from JTXU is onto the grass. Jackson Super Turbo wheel to wheel, and Jackson the Ferrari is through and up to P14. Jake is going to have another opportunity on that Red Bull of Levi Martins in front. And I think next time he'll probably look for a better opportunity. Here comes Henke on Ulster. Side by side go the Alfa Romeo and the Alpine. What an overtake that is from Henke. That is beautiful. Reese is now a second clear of XD Paco here on lap 12. The world champion of B Wright currently in P11 chasing down the points positions. What about F1 Jackson Pera? Side by side goes the Ferrari and the Alpine. Later on the brakes goes the Alpine, but the Ferrari has the inside line. And JTXU is our third retirement in the pit lane tonight. All three drivers retire in the pit lane. But there's not been very many incidents. B-Wright still chasing down TTL Nick. And he is looking for a move. He's right on the rear diffuser of that Ferrari. And there goes Senjo and Ulster. Ulster having to go wide. You can tell he's in his element, Ulster here. He's just loving the battles. Here goes Jake, and Levi Martins will try and push him to the outside. A fantastic battle here. Yeah, DRS is not enabled yet. JTXU, send it in, mate. I'll take a good look at that. F1 Jax is through on Lewis, the Ferrari on the Alfa Romeo. So that recovery drive from F1 Jax is still on. Do not count him out just yet. Here comes B right down the inside of the Ferrari. They do touch though. Ooh, that was close. Just a little bit of a lag spike there as JTXU left, but we're all good. Sorry, guys. Perez spun it, I think. He has. Super Turbo and Undertaker Dylan going wheel to wheel. Perez down in P16. Undertaker Dylan is through on the McLaren. XD Paco does have DRS now, and it looks like XD Paco will retake the lead of the Zandvoort Grand Prix here in Netherlands, his home Grand Prix, and the Haas is back into P1. Reese will just try and stick with him. B right still not able to overtake Nick. Super Turbo back through on Undertaker Dylan. Undertaker Dylan just backing out there. Good driving. And this is getting fiery between Nick and B right. Undertaker Dylan is right round the outside of Super Turbo. The Mercedes and McLaren. Sounds very familiar. Now F1 Jax is caught up to the pack. Just has a little peek there around the corner, seeing where his opportunity is going to lie. But he is flying, the Ferrari driver. B-right still on the rear diffuser, burning his ERS. Oh, right down the inside goes F1 Jax. That is a bit of a lunge. Ooh, it's getting tasty. That's a little bit. Ooh, that's a big lunge from the Aston as well. And B-right is back through. Be careful, lads. There's a bit of lunging. And Jax is back from B right now. I don't know if B right maybe just let him through there. But you need to be careful. You cannot lunge into turn one if you're not alongside. And F1 Jax maybe just wanting to sort of get through a little bit quickly. But he just has to be careful not to make any questionable moves. So still a good race. All the drivers within DRS range. Oster just 2 tenths off that though. And he will leave himself open to Levi Martins now. Because he didn't get that DRS. Is Levi Martins close enough to try and make the move on Oster? He isn't. And he just backs out. Undertaker Dylan is back through on Super Turbo. But will Super Turbo give it him that easily this time round? They are scrapping here. And he is going to try and switch back around. But that ain't going to work this time. And he will still try and make a move. This is not where we see a lot of overtakes. Wow. Reese is still 3 tenths off XD Paco. Or everything to play for here. Let's just have a look at the tyres. So Kazi is on the hard, so his tyres are going to go a lot longer than Paco's, Reese's and Cars. DRLG. Oh, Reese is back into the lead of this Grand Prix. Why did we miss that? Levi Martins is through on Oster, the Red Bull on the Alpine. What about F1 Jax on his own teammate? Is there going to be any team orders here? And F1 Jax has shrugged off B Right out of that DRS as well. Undertaker Dylan on Super Turbo. Still, these two continue to battle it out. Jake is now catching up to Oster. But look at the front four. The Alpha Tauri of Senjo still within the DRS range after getting caught up with that double stack in the pit lane. DRL Jake in the Williams. Over the curb, slight mistake from Oster in the Alpine, but it will not cost him. What about Paco? Can he make another move? He does have Kazi right on his tail now. I think Paco will back out. He does. Just not close enough this time. What about Oster? Also not able to make an overtake. B right now 1.3 off the Ferraris. This is not good for him. Super Turbo and Undertaker Dylan once more. Just need to make sure they leave each other space there. That is Kazi right on the back of Paco. Oh, wow. Kazi did well there to avoid action, to avoid an action. F1 Jax is throwing his teammate. But will that be costly to TTL Nick? Because that's not somewhere you'd usually see an overtake. So has he forced his way through, or has TTL Nick led him through? But that's give B Right an opportunity to get back within DRS range of TTL Nick. And yeah, he has. He's got the DRS back. Cars on Kazi. Cars on Kazi. Where do you hear that? Here comes the McLaren on the outside of the Red Bull. And Oster is through on Levi Martins. Oster in the Alpine. Levi Martins back down to P8. Undertaker Dylan and Super Turbo once more. Can Super Turbo switch it back? No, Undertaker Dylan does make it stick this time, but he leaves an opening. He leaves a huge gap. And Super Turbo is going to get back through with a super overtake. Undertaker Dylan trying to switch it back. He gives him a little nudge for good luck. So, look at this. TTL Nick is now a second off his teammate. So he's going to have no DRS and he's got B right on his tail. TTL Nick is just catching up though, using that ERS to sort of save himself down the straight, which is a great idea. So can XD Paco get back through on Reese and lead this Grand Prix on lap 20? And he backs out again, wow. Cars looking for a move on Kazi. Henke is there. Levi Martins is back for an Oster. He says anything you can do, I can do. And they are scrapping out wheel to wheel. F1 Jax trying to make a move on Jake in the Williams. The Ferrari in the Williams. Is he going to try and make a move in towards the hairpin? Round the outside of Jake he goes. But he cannot get through this time. Onto the grass Jack goes. So Oster staying in P7. And look at Jax. The only thing saving TTL Nick here is he's scrapping on, and he's spun. Jake spun. TTL Nick has crashed into him. B Right as well. Oh my goodness. Jake lost the rears. Did TTL Nick get damage? That is a costly collision. They've not got damage. Has TTL Nick? I think he might be missing an end plate. He is. He's missing an end plate. He's got damage. So TTL Nick will have to go into the pit lane. Oh, God, I feel sorry for TTL Nick. He needs to be careful. Oh, I thought he was going to pit. He's not going to pit. Wow, and Jake's going to go through on the Ferrari. But the Ferrari is going to struggle to make the corners here. Oh, and he's out. He's just completely crashed out. He just drove into the wall there. That's a safety car. That is a safety car. Wow. I don't know what happened there. But the Ferrari drove straight off the track into the wall. Really unfortunate. I'm not saying he did it deliberately, by the way. He might have been just nudged off and can just go flying, especially with the missing end plate. But a safety car, that really throws this whole race up in the air, but it really does help Ulster and F1 Jacks. It helps his Ferrari teammate as well, because he can get rid of that time penalty and get some fresh tyres on as well. Yeah, Dennis, I think that was the case, mate. Yeah, I think the Ferrari and the Aston just had a little coming together and off he went. Yeah, that's what it looked like. Do they pit? They do pit. Oh, Reese! Reese has got a 5-second. Oh, he will be fuming with that. So the AlphaTauri is going to double stack again. And he does get held up again. Only a second, but that second is going to be costly. So both pit stops have found Senjo being held up because he's behind his teammate. So look at this. Kazi, Paco, Jax have all gone onto fresh mediums. That's a big choice. What happened, Reese? Did you just not get under it in time, or if it's incorrect, you know it'll be removed, so don't worry. So Undertaker Dylan, he's your race leader on the hard tyres. Yeah, Dennis, I thought softs for 13 laps, but then you're going to be behind the safety car for 2, so it's about 11 laps. I mean, it will be a struggle. Then mediums will be really nice by the time it gets to that point. So the soft runners, being Reese and Henke, who are going to be in the lead of this Grand Prix, will have to create a huge gap. They'll have to shake Kazi and Kaz and Paco. They'll have to shake them off before the DRS kicks in, 100%. Yeah, if it's a game glitch, Dennis or Reese, it will get removed, so don't worry. Also, anybody listening, please stick around till after interviews, because I want to do another raid. I want to try and do a raid after every stream, so please stick around. We'll try and get another league or something that's racing. We'll try and just obviously raid them as well, so please stick around at the end. Safety cars in this lap as they go in towards Audi S at turn 12 and 13, so no messing around. So here we go. So TTL Nick is out of this race, and a safety car was caused. So Undertaker Dylan will lead the safety car restart. It's when he goes will be interesting, as he's just speeding up, just getting ready, and off he goes. Good restart from Dylan. Oh, and he just lagged there. And Reese and Henke will not want to mess about here. They will want to get through. Senjo is through on XD Paco. That's not what Paco would have wanted. Reese is through on Undertaker Dylan. And now here comes Henke. And Undertaker Dylan just collides with Kazi. And B Wright is at the back of this grid. There goes Kaz. The McLaren is through on the Red Bull. Undertaker Dylan causing a few issues at the front, and B Wright has had a collision. Kaz is going to try and get through this Mercedes as quick as possible. F1 Jax is side by side with the Red Bull, and Ulster goes off the track and onto the gravel. Levi Martins is through on F1 Jax. Here comes Kaz round the outside of Undertaker Dylan in the Mercedes. He is through. Wow. Undertaker Dylan is holding all of these fresh runners up. And obviously he was always going to get swallowed up like this. I thought it was a really bad decision to stay out when every single driver on the grid was pitting. He'll have a lot more grip, the Red Bull, round the outside. He goes, what a move from Kazi. What about XD Paco now? He's got to disperse of that driver. B Wright into the pit lane and retires, and XD Paco moves out to the left. And the Haas driver is up to P5. So Henke and Reese on the softs have got away from that DRS of the medium runners. They've done exactly what they needed to do at this point in the race. Levi Martins on Undertaker Dylan. So Senjo now on F1 Jax. Undertaker Dylan. For me, oh, wow. For me, it was always such a stupid decision to stay out on 15 lap old hard tyres when every single driver in the race was pitting with 10 laps to go. Was always a silly decision to make. And it was always going to cause issues at that point in the race. So DRS is now re-enabled. Reese is your race leader. Undertaker Dylan now into the pit lane. So he does pit and then just retires in the pit lane. So he stays out, blocks every single driver on the grid on fresh tyres, waits till he's at the back of the grid and then goes in the pit lane and retires. That's the sort of stuff. What are we doing here? That is just absolutely unacceptable driving. So here comes Ulster round the outside of Super Tuber in the McLaren. Ulster being pushed out wide though from the McLaren. Senjo is through on Levi Martins with the lunge. And the Ferrari is catching them up. Lewis is through on Jake and up to P10. So a little bit of erratic driving, guys. Please be careful. I mean, every single DNF we've had has been in the pit lane. Kazi is through on Kaz, and so's XD Paco. Kaz will go for the lunge. XD Paco has spun it. Oh, with a reset to track as well. XD Paco has spun it, so it is down to Kazi on his debut race. 1.5 behind with 5 laps to go. Here comes the Red Bull on the back of the AlphaTauri. F1 Jackson, the Ferrari is there as well, but he still has a time penalty. So does Reese, who's been overtaken on Henke. So Reese will lose his podium as it stands. F1 Jax looking for an inside line. Levi Martin's racing really well there, leaving him a gap that he probably didn't need to. Oh, what is that? That is crazy. They're literally entwined in each other. F1 Jax just needs to be careful. He's making quite a few lunges this race, so just be careful, guys. Like that lunge as well. Jesus, guys. What are we doing? Why is all the drivers diving into every corner? That's not how we race here, guys. Come on. So, Reese and Henke are still taking off from cars. Remember, they are locked in a DRS train. So here comes Reese. These two need to try and help each other now to keep Kazi away from them on the mediums. They keep making up time on the straights, but how much can they keep doing that? Trubo next to Paco, who slid out. F1 Jax on Levi Martins again. Oh, they're onto the gravel! They're onto the gravel and out! Oh, safety car! Oh my goodness me! F1 Jax and Levi Martins, I could see that coming all evening. They've collided, the safety car is out. That is devastating for Reese because he's got a 5-place grid penalty. It brings all the pack into play now, and he will obviously lose so many places with that penalty. Sorry. Henke pitted. Wow, that's a big call on that 31. So did Paco. Oh, a lot of the drivers pitted. Wow. Wow. So Reese will be gutted now because he would have come out in P6 without a penalty on fresh softs. But the other drivers have still got to get through the grid. Yeah, that's true, Reese. At least the safety car's staying out for another lap. Which is good for you. I can just see what's going to happen in this race. It's going to end in carnage. I'm going to skip interviews anyway at the end of the race, guys. There's a lot I need to sort out with goals before I start interviewing drivers. It's just crazy. I just don't understand it. Like the driving, like why are some drivers driving like that? It's, like for example, like, and I'm not just picking out one guy, but why does a driver stay out, block every single other driver on the grid, and then as soon as everyone's overtaken him, go in the pit lane and retire? That is just so annoying and frustrating. But we move on. Let's go on the positives. There's some good driving on the track. There's some good drivers. But some of the lunges from some drivers and the dive bombs is crazy. Remember, stick around because right at the end of the race we are going to raid another racing league. So please stay with us and raid and be part of that raid with F7, please. So Reese will get the safety car restart underway. He will lead. But he does have that time penalty. It might get removed though. Here we go. Reese in the AlphaTauri. And off he goes. The AlphaTauri driver down towards turn 1. Let's keep an eye on the rest of the grid as they go shooting down. Here comes the two Alfa Romeos. They've swapped places. Lewis is throwing Henke. What about the hat of XD Paco down the inside of the Alfa Romeo? There goes Jake as well. Henke. No, that's Lewis getting swallowed up a little bit. Oster in the Alpine. Levi Martins in the Red Bull. Henke's got 5 seconds. I think that will get removed. I don't know why that is, but it is carnage here. Henke in the Alfa Romeo trying to make a move. Super Turbo in the McLaren. Somebody's off track. Oster is thrown Lewis. Levi Martins and the Red Bull is here. There's 3 laps to go here in Zandvoort. F1 Jacks round the outside and Levi Martins lunging down the inside. Super Turbo in the McLaren getting swallowed up on them 10-lap old mediums. So Levi Martins in the Red Bull. Still trying to go for a move on Lewis. There goes Henke on Sendro. The two Norwegians trade places. Henke now on the back of cars. XD Paco trying to make a move on the AlphaTauri. Pera is through an F1 Jacks. F1 Jacks spun it. He's made a mistake. Here comes Cars on Carsey. The McLaren is in front of the Red Bull. The Red Bull on their mediums. Here comes Henke now. Surely not. Oh, and he's lunged right down the inside. F1 Jacks goes into the pit lane. XD Paco is round. This is carnage. He's into the gravel. Jake, Oster. What is going on, man? Henke going to try and make a move on cars. Reese and Henke do have time penalties, but they are going to lose these podiums. Henke is thrown up to P2. There's going to be a lot of reports here, Oster, and I'm so sorry to the drivers that have tried and had to put up with this. I really am. I can only apologise on behalf of F7 for the quality of driving you've had to endure this evening and put up with on stream. DRL Jake is through on Super Turbo. Carsey is through on Cars. The Red Bull is back into the podiums, but he's on for the race win. 2 laps to go. Henke is now into the lead of this Grand Prix as we are about to go on to the final lap of this race. So Reese will lose a lot of positions with that time penalty, and so will Henke going on to the final lap. And it looks like Carsey will take the victory. Here comes Sendro and Cars. He does have that DRS now. The AlphaTauri are going to try and go round the outside of the McLaren. Levi Martins round the outside of Super Turbo. So DRL Jake on the back of Sendro. And going on to the final sector of this Grand Prix in lap 36 here in Zandvoort. It is going to be Henke and Reese that come through, but it looks like Kazi on his debut race is going to take the victory. Here comes Jake on Sendro. The Williams round the outside of the AlphaTauri. They do collide, but the Williams looks like he is going to get the move done on the AlphaTauri, and he does, and up to P5 goes Jake. Henke is going to come through to take the checkered flag. Reese is going to come through in P2, but it is going to be Kazi on his debut that wins here in Zandvoort. Kaz takes P2 and Jake takes a podium in P3. Look how far down they've dropped. Please stay with us, guys. We are going to do a raid, and we're not doing interviews, and I'm really, really sorry about everything else. There you have it on the top step. So let's have a look at the standings for this awful race. Kazi in the Red Bull takes the victory here in Zandvoort. Congratulations to him. What a debut. Kaz in the McLaren takes P2 and Jake in the Williams takes the podium in P3. Sendro takes P4, Oster P5, Levi Martins P6, Henke P7, Trubo P8, Reese P9 and Lewis in P10. XD Paco gets the fastest lap. But a lot of talking points, guys. I can only apologise on behalf of F7 for any of the drivers that have had to put up for that, and all the drivers that have had to deal with that sort of quality of racing. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm going. No, I'm just kidding. Right, guys. We are going to be back tomorrow with Fantasy F7. Remember, that is with Red Wildfire. It's Constructors Based Championship only. So make sure you tune into that. Thank you to everybody for watching and tuning in and supporting F7 as you always do. I'm really sorry for the driving that you've had to watch tonight, and I will try my best to get that sorted, okay? But thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in as always. Thank you to our sponsors, Rock Solid Rigs, and our partners of TTL Esports. And we'll be back tomorrow night, guys.